one thing that I tell guitar learners is that learning music is one thing, learning guitar is another thing.
Okay, expound on that.
They go together.
Okay.
You can play it here. Okay, so.
Wait a minute, Kashif, how are you doing that?
And then press it, but when you let go of it, go down. Yeah.
Oh, I would have never. I'm gonna practice that.
Yeah,
Make it
yeah.
sound like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. What questions do you have? Just right off, because your tuning. It seemed like you got that down, and I'll be honest with you, that's something that
Really?
a lot of people don't. They're turning it the other way, and it's going down. They're supposed to be going up. But you were actually like doing that correct. I guess, can you speak about?
Yes, okay.
Was that an easy concept for you to actually grasp?
The tuning part was.
Okay.
And I would say for me, it's really holding the guitar. Like when I start strumming certain chords, it may, like, there are times where it might sound right, and then times where it doesn't. And I don't know if I'm holding my fingers correctly on the string.
Cool. Cool. So, do you remember any chords at all? Because it looks like your posture is right. It looks like you're holding it right.
Let's see. I don't know the name.
Okay.
But I believe this is one. Hold on.
That is A major.
Okay. And then.
So let's keep it at A major right now.
Okay.
Now, don't worry about strumming this, the low E string. What you can do, you can actually take your thumb and just kind of tap it so it doesn't ring out.
So hold it over like this?
If it's comfortable for you, and just kind of don't push it down. Just kind of tap it, and then when you play it, it'll give you a little bit better of a grip. I mean, play the same chords you were playing.
Okay, but just don't strum this one.
Correct. Now, you still got to put your index finger up a string. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if that's not comfortable and you got to put it back here to kind of give it a better press, then do that.
Okay.
You know, but just know that's an option. You can put it up here so that doesn't ring out. Okay?
I see what you mean.
Yeah. And also, you can actually lift your pinky to make it a little easier. It'll be a variation of the A major. It's not an A major anymore, but it's still an A. It's just like a different voicing. Since your pinky isn't on it, you'll just be lifting your index finger.
Oh, so this way?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
So give it an intentional strum. There you go.
Okay.
That's a little better.
So I'm not hitting this string. I guess when I'm strumming the different chords, I guess knowing the correct strings to hit.
That's a part of it. Because to be honest with you, the reason why I started off with tuning in that way is because if it's not tuned right, it's not gonna sound right no matter what you do.
Okay.
Now, some guitars stay in tune better than others, so you may not have to tune it every single time that you sit down with it. But things happen like this. Like in your house, if the AC is on blast,
right,
you know, and let's say you have another day where it's not on blast, well, that fluctuates with like temperature. So the materials of the guitar moves slightly. So that might throw it out of tune.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that it will, but sometimes it can. So, you know, you may just want to sit down and just see and have like a reference chord that you play that you pretty much memorize to sit down and play to see if it does sound like it's in tune.
Okay.
And if it sounds like it's off, if you play this enough times, you're going to memorize, you're going to understand, you're going to remember how it sounds. You know what I'm saying? So that sounds pretty good. Yours sounds pretty good. It's in tune. Yeah. Now, if you play this low string, it don't sound bad, but it's not gonna sound like it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So those, it's little small things like that
Okay.
that are really tweaks to what you probably already know that will make that much of a difference.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Cool.
yeah, that's an A major.
Cool. All right. I'm trying to think. What are the other ones? I know.
And if you think of another one, we'll just stick with those two.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
just,
I'm not thinking of the other one right now. So we could just stick with.
Okay.
I'll let you lead.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, so I pretty much showed you like a variation. Like I'm using my middle finger, ring finger, pinky, but you can do it like how you have it as well.
Okay.
Just know that a good way to practice and to warm up, because after you tune up, you want to warm up after that.
Okay.
And you choose a chord that you know, that you're familiar with, kind of like what you're doing, and just give it a good strum. Now, Guitar Tuner has a metronome on it as well.
What is that?
Okay. a metronome is just a little click.
Okay.
It's like a consistent click. Ta, ta,
To keep the
ta,
rhythm.
To keep the rhythm. Another option is if you want to like play a loop, like say if you want to play a loop on your phone or something like that, like a music loop, to just keep tempo, because keeping tempo is what actually makes it all come together. After you play the one chord, all right, how can we apply this to a song?
I see.
You see what I'm saying? So, and let's say the song is an A major and an E major. Let's say it's those two chords. Like, it's important to be able to switch between chords and stay on tempo.
Yeah, and I'm
just-
seeing how you make it look so easy. Dang, with the transition of it.
That's practice. Now, the reason that I choose, and most guitar instructors choose A major and E major to switch back and forth between those chords.
So this is E?
Actually, let's do E major, because I wanted to sound a certain way for you. So E major is taking your, let's go to the second fret on these two strings, and use your middle and ring finger for those.
Middle and ring. Wait,
Yeah.
middle and
Yeah,
ring.
yeah, there you go, and put your middle finger right there. There you go, and bring your index finger on the first fret on the G string. So that's that string right here. There you go. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, now, that feels crazy.
Okay. Okay.
So.
All right, now the way you have it, you're kind of, position your hand to where it's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You may have to turn your wrist a little bit. You may have to bring your elbow out. No, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And just bring your fingers closer together. Don't feel like you gotta
Like
force it.
this?
That looks more comfortable.
Okay. He said it look more comfortable.
It looks more
Because
comfortable.
it looked crazy. Like,
Yeah,
it felt
because
crazy.
you was like this. You had it way over here. Because
Okay.
the thing is, you don't have to have it like when you're playing a note. It doesn't have to be on either side. It just has to be in the middle right here. You see? It doesn't have to be like some people put their fingers on top of the fret or fret wire. Yeah, just make sure it's in between those.
In between the two.
Yeah. And then,
Okay.
yeah. Don't be scared.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really it. Just make sure. Now, I don't know how your fingers feel on this side. And maybe this is a little, let me see. That's not that bad. You just got to kind of do it a few times to make sure that the notes ring out totally. Don't be afraid to squeeze it just a little bit more.
So, am I pressing it more so that it'll touch the back like that?
Yes. Now, you don't want to like hurt your fingers necessarily, but yeah, you want to press the strings all the way to the wood. Yeah, that's it.
Ouch.
You do that enough times and it won't be an ouch no more.
Am I gonna develop calluses on my fingers? That's gonna be
Maybe.
unfortunate.
Maybe. But you know what? After you develop those calluses, they don't look callous no more. I mean,
Okay.
you see the little string dent, but that's just when right after you playing.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And to be quite honest with you, your string height it's not high, but your string height can be adjusted. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know
Well,
that.
yeah, which we can talk about that like offline.
Oh.
But yeah, this guitar, I took, like when I changed the strings, this piece right here is a separate piece. It comes out, and you can sand it down. Now I'm not saying that you have to do that. I'm saying that
I better not be the one to do that.
like a guitar tech, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They may charge, $30 to just kind of lower this and to maybe shave this down just a little bit.
Interesting.
And it'll make it more comfortable to play.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So
easier to transition between.
right. Easier to transition between. Now, if
Can I see the height of yours?
yeah. Hold you here. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Oh, it is different. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. I would do this one. That's right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to have to take you up on that because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never known.
Yeah, now since I'm
Now I'm
comfortable
looking at it. Yeah.
since I'm comfortable playing, I played with guitars with strings higher than this. So I mean, it's
Wow. Okay. That's a good key to know. I would have never been aware of that.
yeah. I mean, that's another thing that I push as well, because a lot of people get discouraged because of, like, one reason can be because they don't know that their guitar is just uncomfortable. It's not set up well. Maybe they need new strings, maybe just whatever, the things that I mentioned prior, just to lower the strings. Just little things like that. And it doesn't require like a whole slew of lessons to learn that. It may be just somebody sitting down with you or somebody on the video just saying, hey, do this, do that, and that's it. And just kind of keep it in mind every time you're sitting down and playing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And it's cool to be in person because I feel like for me, learning style-wise, I can pick up quicker on it.
Of course, and that's most people.
The transitioning of the notes.
Playing a scale.
Or chords.
Okay. Now, okay, to transition from one chord to another, to be honest with you, that's kind of like a thing in itself. And one thing that I tell guitar learners is that learning music is one thing, learning guitar is another thing.
Expound on that.
They go together.
Okay.
So it's almost like a baby using his voice or using his or her voice before they learn English. They're not quiet, but you hear them you hear them doing that.
Yeah.
They're learning the vocal cords. They're learning. They're experimenting with it. They're experimenting with different volumes, different pitches, different inflections before they ever learn a word. So, nothing is stopping a guitar learner from just picking up the guitar and just learn the guitar. Like, no matter what you play, just learn it. Like, understand the fact that if you're fretting this string, you're gonna pluck that same string on that side. Things like that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Now, is it always like that when you have like a certain note that you're always just hitting those strings? Is there ever a case where you're hitting more strings although your fingers might not be on it?
That's a great question. Yes and no.
Okay.
Because again, it's about learning the guitar. There are times when you don't have to fret it down here. I mean, you don't have to pluck it down here.
Okay.
You can play it here. Okay, so.
Wait a minute, Kashif, how are you doing that?
So, but the way I'm doing it is I'm just hitting it hard enough to where it rings out. And then
what in the world?
but now this is a byproduct of the strings being a certain height too.
Okay.
Because when it's higher,
Yeah.
it's a little harder to do that.
Okay.
Now I may be able to do that on your guitar, but when you let go of it, pull it down a little bit. Well, yeah, put it on the 3rd fret. It's a little easier on the highest string. I mean the smaller string right here. And then press it, but when you let go of it, go down. Yeah.
Oh, I would have never known.
Yeah, so that's why I say learn the guitar.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
When you're playing different chords, and you know can do little things like that when you're playing a chord, it makes it a little more colorful. So instead of just pulling it off straight off, when you do that, it'll actually pluck it again without you doing anything with this hand.
Interesting.
So it's little like
Wow.
nuances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna practice that.
Yeah,
Make it
yeah.
sound like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just going from that A to the E.
Okay.
Now, again, learning the guitar itself, transitioning from one chord to another, you may have to even just practice without strumming, just practice this by itself. So just practicing playing that A major, you're not even strumming it, just to familiarize yourself to where your fingers are actually going. Like literally, let that be practice.
Okay.
You know, just sit down. It might be quiet. That's all right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like that muscle memory.
Muscle
Okay.
memory. That's literally all it
Okay.
is. And then once you get to a place to where you feel like you want to try it out, you can put your metronome on. Bryn, let me get that real quick. What you doing on my phone?
Okay. Well, look at that.
Yeah, it's right there. They kind of, I can tell like when they were updating, they sort of switched it around.
Okay.
Slow it down. A metronome is essential, my goodness. Ooh.
He's like, this is a key feature in learning.
Yeah, it really is, because if you don't have that grid to actually establish rhythm, then you don't know what to come back to or to deviate from. You got to have something. It's basically like having a chair to sit on or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and whenever you want to come back to the chair and sit down, you can get off a little bit, but come back on. You know, being able to do both I think is important.
Okay.
So right now we're going to just do down strums, or I'll demonstrate down strums on the A major. Just down. Now eventually you want to incorporate up strums, but we're just doing down right now. Now at some point when you're comfortable, you can start to transition to the E. But that's where
It's like, I got to think about it. I'm like, wait, which fingers?
yeah, and that's all right. That's why you have to practice the change. Yeah, and that was actually pretty quick. And then you might want to even start off. It might be easier for you to transition from the E to the A versus the A to the E.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So start out with the E at first, and then yeah. You do that for about a week, you'll be strumming it out that following weekend. You know what I'm saying? So a way to merge that, here's a way to actually merge it, is waiting for a few clicks before you actually play, okay?
Okay.
So you can do it like this. Start with the E major, switch it. Kind of using that approach. Switch it. that. Switch it. And then eventually, it's gonna be time to go here. Just doing it right after one another. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try that approach.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
start using that.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And then after doing this, like gradually, maybe like the following, like whenever you feel comfortable doing it. And I'm not saying doing it this drastically, but you know, if you do it so many times and you're up to 100 now, then and that's pretty good. Now, once you're there, then so these are like incremental shifts, okay? Because after you get that down, then it's gonna be time to concentrate on like being more striky with your chords. I ain't never used that word, but you know, like hit it. Because again, one part about learning guitar is learning the instrument. Learn the music, but learn the instrument too. So you want to know how to play soft and hard. So not only, but you also want to go. Okay. Then also understanding that since you're doing down strums, your thumb is already going up to do each down.
Okay.
So utilize that up. You know, I'm not saying do that now, but I'm just saying, yeah, like when you're ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I wouldn't even necessarily start out doing this. I wouldn't necessarily start out doing that. I would just start doing down.
Doing the down.
Doing a bunch of downs.
Okay.
And you see people using their thumb.
Yeah.
Some people use these fingers, which I'm not comfortable with at all. But they do that kind of thing.
Oh.
And I don't know how to do that.
All of their fingers?
Yeah, they
Wow.
They do that kind of stuff. Some people use a pick, which I have picks. Or some people use the bed of their nail some kind of way if they want like a real quiet. You know, but I typically default to using the edge of my thumb right here.
Okay.
Some people use the tip of their thumb. I don't know how they do that. That's not comfortable for me.
Right. It don't look comfortable.
Right. So, yeah.
I think I just naturally went this way with my thumb.
Yeah. Do what's natural. I would
yeah.
say do what's natural. Now, when it's time to, you're naturally going to want to venture out into other things. You know, like using your thumb for the lower string, and then using like your middle finger and ring finger to do more melodic stuff. So and that's just using two fingers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's playing the same chord and just doing some other thing.
Yeah, you are.
And that's just kind of using this.
I think that's cool because you were playing like a chord, but you weren't like doing an actual song. You were just kind of like making up your own little thing.
Yeah.
And it sounded good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's how people be making up music. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. This is why I think everybody should have a guitar in their house. You know, it was actually, well, I don't know if it was customary, but it was very common that everyone had a piano in their house.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you know, in the early 1900s, and maybe like the matriarch or like the grandma of the whole family just knew how to cut on them keys.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was blues or whatever, classical, and she just knew how to do it. You know, there was someone who just through the years, this is what they did in their spare time. I don't know that is as common now.
Right.
But I have like the same outlook to have a guitar in your house.
Okay. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So yeah, Yeah, it's literally just hitting the low string, and you know, in addition to strumming, that's very important. But also know that you can individually pluck the low strings and the high strings. You can take turns.
Oh, I see what you're doing now.
You see
Okay,
what I'm doing?
yeah.
And then you start to make use of it in different ways. And you can move your pinky, since this finger is available.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And you do it up to speed.
Okay.
But you saw how I did it
Yeah.
slowly.
Uh-huh.
But the trick is practicing slowly with a metronome, because that'll help you to get a sense of internal rhythm as well. And then you start playing drums with your fingers at the same time.
Yeah.
Slap down on it, mute it.
Oh, this is just fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you're on. You
Yeah.
are your own band in a sense.
Okay.
You know. Like I don't know how to do all the. When you see the guitar players doing all the.
Yeah, I've seen it. They going in.
I'm like, I don't know what y'all doing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but yeah.
That works.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, number one, it was good that you knew. Is that still recording? Cool. Good stuff. Thank you, baby. You can take some more stuff if you want to. I'll put the camera back on. Here you go. Yeah, it was good that you know how to tune. That's like one thing that people just sit down and they play the guitar and they're like, I don't know if it sounds right. It's like, no, it doesn't sound right because you're not tuned up.
Right.
Let alone having a guitar that will stay in tune.
That makes me feel good.
I appreciate you coming out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
This is cool. Oh, let me